Another black mark tonight against the Schenectady Police Department. Another officer is arrested, suspected this time of drunk driving. Steve shows us what police say his actions caused this weekend. Steve.
Now, Lisa, Colony police tell us Officer Michael Brown with the Schenectady Department was involved in a crash right here at the intersection of Route 9 and Osborne Road around 10:30 last night here in Loudonville. He allegedly rear-ended a car in the southbound lane right here, then left the scene down 378 there towards Menands. Brown is in court right now facing those charges, and News 10's Eric Egan live in Colony Town Court with more on how the department is handling this latest trouble. Eric.
Well, Steve, Schenectady police actually declined an on-camera interview, but they did issue a statement. We'll get to that in a second. But as for right now, Brown is in court, as you mentioned, facing 2 misdemeanor charges. Now, what happened last night was Brown was arrested after police say he drove into the back of another car at the intersection of Route 9 and Osborne Road. Brown then allegedly left the scene, but was later stopped by police along Route 378. Colony officers say they arrested Brown and charged him with DWI and leaving the scene of a crash. Now, Brown is just the latest Schenectady police officer to face charges. He's been suspended for 30 days without pay, and as we said, in Colony Town Court right now. In response to this latest problem, Schenectady Commissioner Wayne Bennett has said that the majority of officers do not have an issue with following the department's rules and regulations. Bennett then issued this statement. Regrettably, a few officers continue to refuse to abide by these mandates. I will utilize my authority as to discipline or offer and assess penalties, including termination where appropriate, to put an end to this behavior and the further criticism of the Schenectady Police Department. Now, as we said, right now, Brown is on unpaid suspended leave for the next 30 days. As for the Schenectady Police Department, they are continuing to investigate this accident. We're live in Colony tonight. Eric Egan, News 10.
The Schenectady Police Force, so there are some problems there. New allegations that an officer was at the dentist when he was supposed to be on duty. It follows the suspension of another officer earlier this week for driving drunk. Marcia Natal has new details on that and what the mayor is doing to try to stop these problems from happening.
Our officers find themselves facing extra scrutiny because of the misdeeds and the missteps and the stupid actions of a few.
A few? Actually, 8 officers are now suspended from the Schenectady Police Department, and Mayor Brian Stratton has had enough. On Wednesday, he paid officers a visit, speaking to every platoon at the start of every shift. Well, it's certainly not every day that the mayor goes to the police officers before their shift to speak to them. And that's pretty profound. So if that doesn't work, then what?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't think of what the other options were.
One of the options is dismantling the police department. The city attorney says legally it can happen. The city is not required to have a police department, but logistically, that's where the problem arises, because who would protect the city?
We have a force of 166 officers. We have many officers in our department who want to do a good job, and we just can't immediately shut it down.
But Stratton says the termination of officers is not out of the question. Published reports stated that just yesterday, Sergeant Eric Clifford was at a dentist appointment when he was supposed to be on patrol. But I saw a copy of Sergeant Clifford's time card, and law enforcement sources confirmed to me that it clearly shows Clifford checked off the personal leave box and wrote that he would be on personal leave from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.